Hello and welcome to the Boostara podcast. I am your host, James. On the Boostara podcast, we talk to leaders in business and education and uncover truths and insights from their amazing experiences. At Boostara, we help companies boost growth, cut costs, and gain better business insights. If you would like to learn how we can help you leverage AI for your business, please type the word growth into the comments below and I will be sure to reach out. Today, we are joined by, I want to say, the fashionable Lucia Tanner, because we were joking about glasses last week. But Lucia Tanner, managing partner at Brave. Hello, Lucia.
Hi, James. Lovely to be here today.
Yeah, it's fantastic to have you on, Lucia. Those of our listeners that are not familiar with Brave, Lucia, could you just give us a bit of a rundown, an explanation as to who exactly Brave are and your journey to where you are now with Brave?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Brave, we're a people consultancy. So, you can almost think of us as kind of your external HR team. So, whether that's for businesses who are on the smaller side and aren't quite yet at the stage of having their own HR team, or if there's particular projects, or even for HR teams already in existence, we can come in and give you extra capacity if there's specialist projects. And that also includes recruitment as well. So finding new talent for your business. So really, we can come in and help out with whatever you need. And I personally, I kind of cover the Surrey and London region.
Hmm.
My background, I have been, well, for the last kind of almost decade, I was within a SaaS tech business. When I started there was about 70 people and 12 million in revenue. Nine-ish years later, it was over 1,200, quarter of a billion in revenue, and all over the world. It was crazy. So had lots of different challenges, lots of different situations. And the next stage for me was kind of building up my own consultancy business, and yeah, becoming part of the Brave group of companies was part of that.
Amazing, amazing. And I mean, with that insight into tech and recruitment, I think I mean you said there Brave does a lot more than just standalone recruitment, right? You're a consultancy service that can help with a range of different issues. I'm seeing that with a lot of different companies that place themselves as recruiters, but also consultants and effectively partners to help build the business partners. Do you see that as a common sort of trend in the space now?
I think it's certainly, I think, well, we all know kind of recruitment ages have seemed to have existed since the beginning of time. But yeah,
Mm,
this idea about having this external HR piece, and I think as companies are much more aware of the legalities around employing people, from things like national minimum wage to actually what does really good employee engagement look like.
mm.
They want to make sure that they're doing the right things. It's a very competitive market at the moment, so they want to make sure that candidates want to work for them. And yeah, as I said, kind of some companies aren't yet in the position to think, right, we want to bring this in-house, we want to build our own team, but they don't want to miss out on those expertise. And certainly, yeah, from what I saw um, within the tech world as well, it's always really super competitive, and
Mm.
particularly in the growth, you want to make sure that kind of all your growth is scalable as well. There are certain things, there's hiccups along the way, but I think that happens in every business. And actually, what's really important is how you respond to that.
Mm. And I think that's quite interesting. Is probably a lot of the customers that you do get coming to you for the first time. It is because they have growth in mind. Not necessarily they want to firefight, put out fires. They've got this issue going on with the company, but actually very much the opposite. They want to grow and they need that stable hands to help push them up there.
Yeah, definitely. And don't get me wrong, we do get those clients coming to us going, "Oh, we've got a complete forest fire going on at the moment. Help us, what do we do?" And we can go in and sort that out. Yeah, I kind of joke that sometimes we can just go in and be the bad guys
Mm,
sometimes.
yeah.
But yes, certainly that growth piece, and it's not just on the recruitment side as well, where companies are growing and thinking about the organizational structure and what they need and where, and maybe kind of tightening up some of their practices, potentially thinking about founders thinking about selling later on or IPOing.
Mm,
Um, and so certainly going into that and knowing, right, we're going to need this compliance piece in place. We need to make sure that we've got this really strapped up and booted on. And yeah, I think there's always, of course, there's a taboo around redundancy in
mm,
business, and having to make employees or having to make roles redundant. Um, but actually, I think it's also it's a good sign of growth. It's a sign that kind of founders and leaders are going, right, what bits of the business are working, what do we need to amend? And certainly where we see kind of AI coming into businesses, and you hear in the newspapers, it's going to take over this role, it's going to take over that role. Well, yes, certainly there might be some jobs that can be automated.
yeah.
So it's up to us as kind of people professionals and also talking to leaders. What are the new roles that we're going to need? Like, for example, 15 years ago, no such thing as a social media manager within a
Mm,
business. And now you have entire social media teams. So actually, let's think about what we can do and how we can help businesses stand the test of time.
very interesting. I mean, taking that into account, we'll talk more sort of in depth on AI, but are you seeing that as a little bit of a trend in the companies coming to you that they are looking for roles that are really quite new, or some of them maybe more traditional roles you're seeing less and less of? Well, yeah, what do those trends look like in terms of the clients you're dealing with at the minute?
Yeah, I don't think the new kind of what I would say are going to be the new suite of AI roles. I don't think those have been really firmed up. I mean, it's not just from clients. You look at LinkedIn, you listen to the news.
Mm,
What we're hearing at the moment is all about the decrease of the traditional roles. So, take, for example, administrator roles, things where there really is just this capability to automate tasks. Mm, And I think that it's always in a very negative light kind
mm,
of because of that, or it seems to be. It's kind of this AI is a bad thing, it's taking away roles. But if I look at the HR profession, for example, I think of AI automating certain tasks, and actually what that then means is it frees up more time for us to be doing better people tasks, really thinking about how can we make XYZ better? How can we do this? How can we do that? So it's just about thinking of it kind of as a resource rather
mm.
than a replacement.
Very interesting. You remind me of a conversation I had really recently with someone who predicts that the recruitment space is going to shrink as AI becomes more mainstream, and that being because of recruitment firms becoming much more competitive, but I suppose more effective in their placements and in the way that they work, and that just pushing others out of the market. Is that something that you would kind of agree with, or?
I think it could happen because actually recently I've been kind of um, testing out from the candidate side. There is an agency. I'm not sure I can say the name, so edit out if needs be. But it's called Jack and Jill, and the Jack side, Jack AI is for the candidate. The Jill is for the companies that are using them. And it's literally you have a 20-minute conversation with Jack
Right.
that summarizes everything that you talk about, what you're looking for, the spaces that you're looking to go into, the industries, and we'll come back with we'll search all the jobs that are currently live. I'm not sure exactly which platforms it searches, but it kind of really goes down into the nuts and bolts of these kind of companies that might be offering particular roles. And then when there's a new one that comes in, it automatically sends you an email and you can respond back to it. It'll ask questions in the email. And it's mad.
Matchmaking, basically, right? Yeah.
It is. I mean, recruitment's almost a bit like always been a bit like dating. But yeah, the fact that all this interaction that I've been having with it has been with AI. I haven't spoken to a
Mm,
human
yeah.
yet. As I say, I don't know what it's like on the kind of the employer side of things. As we know, one of the big flags around AI has been around bias and how it
Mm,
can potentially um, almost double down the impact of it. But the thing that I always then respond to that with is it's the old adage, the garbage in, garbage out.
yeah.
If you've got really good prompts in there, um, really good information that you're putting in, then you should be getting that out. But yeah, if you've just got someone kind of putting in a very quick, get the 10 best candidates out of these CVs,
Mm,
looking at the candidates that we've previously employed, then yes, those inherent biases are still going to be in there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's yeah, it was said very recently, just generally ChatGPT and Copilot does just have inherent racial bias, gender bias,
Yeah,
bias towards socioeconomic groups, which can be corrected in a sense by, yeah, by really good prompting, but the fact that it's there at this point for
yeah,
some can be worrying, right? And I suppose it's it's difficult because there will be bias in human analysis, but then we're saying computer AI analysis also has bias, right? So
yeah. And the
um,
horse has kind of bolted.
yeah,
Like these people are using these systems, um, and yeah, you automatically think, oh, it's a machine, it's a computer, it doesn't have subjectivity.
mm,
And true, in black and white, it doesn't, if when you think of it without any information in at all. But as soon as you're plugging in pre-existing information, there will potentially be those biases from where you have recruited and has been through everything has included human interaction because it's natural to have biases. We know
yeah,
there's so much knowledge around unconscious bias as well. As you're saying earlier, it's not just a kind of a race or a gender bias, it's that socioeconomic bias as well. So whilst the kind of the horse has bolted, it's about trying to run after it, kind of catch up with it and get a saddle on it and see, right, how can we kind of try to mitigate that happening? Is it going to take a mix of AI and human interaction? Is it going to be done through kind of audits, ongoing audits? It's I think it's the big question mark at the moment.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I guess do you get from your point of view, do you get the kind of pushback on data as well? The fact of feeding people's data or company data, candidate data into AI, does that get brought up quite often?
Well, I think even take AI out of the picture and GDPR candidate data. I think kind of ironically, recruitment has always been potentially more ahead of other industries because it kind of deals almost exclusively with personal data. So we the rules have always been known. GDPR, pre-GDPR with the Data Protection Act. Um, but yeah, I think when you're thinking about different data centers and where things are actually, it's going to be really important for people and for companies to understand where is that data traveling.
Yeah,
Um, where I worked previously and we've had employees all around the world, you suddenly have all sorts of different data legislation as well. And then
mm,
when you look at the US, each of the states themselves have very different, well, not very different all the time, but there are certain differences between state legislation as well. And you
Mm,
think kind of places like California that have kind of Silicon Valley
mm,
might be a bit more ahead of the kind of more traditional areas within the US. So I think it's something, yeah, really understanding where is this data going, who has access to it.
yeah,
Is it
yeah,
open
yeah.
source? Like there's almost there's a whole new level
Mm,
of
mm,
questions. But again, this is where future jobs could be.
yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
is where I see kind of the opening of not a new job market, but certainly an expansion of
Mm,
it,
hmm
that you kind of have data security specialists that then further specialize into AI systems.
hmm It's interesting. I mean, like you said before, the horse has bolted, right? The bucket's tipped. Would you say that like the data argument? Because the way I see it is that maybe if you're a huge company, then you've probably got legitimate concerns about bringing in AI systems to handle all of your data. But if you're a much smaller, an SME, that you haven't incorporated AI into your systems, it seems foolish not to when it's kind of obvious that that's where the growth, kind of your own growth as a company is going to come from. But then, yes, there are the concerns, but you probably go for growth first. Not
Yeah.
making a website when the internet came about. It's, oh no, because of this concern, that concern. But now it's like, well,
Yeah.
you don't not have a website, right? For whatever concern you might have, you have to have a website. And I guess, would you say that's the way we're going? It's not quite clear yet, maybe what the impact of all the data going here, there, and everywhere is actually going to have.
Yeah, I think what I'm seeing highlighted is not so much about the potential downsides of using AI. I'm seeing more about the downsides of companies that don't
Yeah.
use AI and how they will potentially fall behind. I mean, funny enough, to your point about kind of the bigger teams, whether they're deciding to use it or not, and the smaller businesses, actually in your big large enterprise businesses, you're probably going to have entire teams of compliance people. So
Mm,
actually, AI is, although you might be using it more, it might be slightly lower risk because you've got these gatekeepers in place to check what's happening. And I see it being smaller businesses that might actually get caught out. But at the same time, like you say, if they just want to grow, it's going to be one of those calculated risks. They need
mm,
to go, right, what's our appetite for the risk? What do we want to do? What are we using AI for? We'll use the example of recruitment. We want to grow by 100% in a year. We want to double our workforce. We've only got a team of one dedicated recruiter. Okay, we're going to need to, well, the question is, do we get in an AI tool? Do we get in another person,
mm,
for example?
mm,
And then you're going to have the risks of both. With AI, you have the data risk with bringing another person in. Are we going to be able to um, bring in enough sales to actually warrant all those new roles and bringing in a person with it? So
yeah.
there's no kind of, as I'm sure everyone's aware, there doesn't tend to be one completely safe route in business. Everything has its risks. If you go, say, completely safe on the compliance piece, that might then hinder some of the speed
Mm,
that you follow out. I'm not saying don't comply with legislation and bits and pieces, but it's taking those, saying
mm,
kind of, well, this is what best practice is,
mm,
but actually we need to move a bit faster than that. So yeah,
mm,
it's going to be very individual and very bespoke
mm,
for each company. And actually, a couple of weeks ago, I met with an AI consultant who is kind of going out into businesses and like understanding their structures, seeing the systems they have in place now, and then making suggestions and advising around different AI systems that they might want to bring in. So kind of this new kind of level of expertise
mm,
coming in and going, okay, this is the system you can do. Here's the pros and cons. Here's the advisory piece. So again, kind of this whole new world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's exactly it. I mean, there are, I heard it the other day, 40,000 separate AI tools on the
Wow.
market, and it's growing, 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 growing every single day. So of course, it's not one size fits all. One company's challenge or one company's sort of road to growth is going to be completely different to another. So it only makes sense that the tools and the way, the strategy to get there is going to be completely different, right, for every single one. I suppose
Yeah.
much the same when you're doing consultancy and you're doing placements for companies that come to you is very, very different. Even they've got the same problem, the way that you get them to that final goal is going to be different, right? And I kind of
Yeah.
wondering for the companies that you work with, what are those sort of initial misconceptions that they have when they approach Brave, and maybe it's their first time to work with a consultancy such as yourself? What are those sort of misconceptions you always hear?
Um, so I think it's some of the, I think a big misconception is, right, we need this person in and we need them in yesterday, or I need this person who can juggle whilst breathing fire, whilst also being on a unicycle, and I want to pay them 10 grand a year.
Yeah.
So I think there's those kind of, there's actually what is possible. Um, but yeah, every company is different, not just in the processes and how they find people, but the values that they look for in people. Even for the same, what looks very similar in a job description, the same role in two companies, they could be looking for two completely different characters that they want to come into their company, or different kind of that they've had. So I suppose, yeah, it can be a bit of a misconception that it's going to be one size fits all, and actually just let's just get someone in. I mean, we can obviously, if there's a particular way that a client wants to do that, then absolutely we will work with them. But we'll also give guidance along the way as well. So if they say, right, we want this person and we think it looks like this shape of a person, we can go, well, actually, you know that you've got these growth plans. What about hiring it at a more senior level or a different type of skill? Like, let's think about the person that you need in 6, 12 months rather than the person that you need right now.
Mm, interesting. I mean, do you find it is it an easy road to get people over those misconceptions? Is it just a case of a conversation with yourself, or do people still get stuck in that mindset of it? Oh, they think it's like this, and
No, I think a lot of the time when they're working with us, they understand that we want them to be successful in
yeah.
finding somebody. So um, when we're giving advice to them, they know it's coming from a good place. And yes, if they were to tell us that they wanted something that just wasn't possible, then we'll tell them that. Or what
Mm,
it tends to be is there's very little that's impossible. It's just about how much you're willing to spend to get to that end result. So we can say if they're looking for a really, really niche role, there's maybe only 2 or 3 people in the industry that really specialize in that. We can say, well, yeah, there are 2 or 3 people. We can start a conversation with them, look to headhunt them, but what you're going to be paying them is much more because they are in such a niche
mm,
market. So it's just about bringing the client along on the journey and understanding um, what they're really looking for. Because on the HR side, um, like I see it from managers, they go, right, I've got this problem and I want to do this to sort it out.
yeah,
And actually, it's talking to them and teasing out what is going on. And actually, the problem that they thought they had was actually only a symptom.
yeah.
And so you then go to them, right, okay, what is actually the problem here, and how can we sort that out? Because otherwise, you're just like I was saying earlier, you're just firefighting, you're just sorting out symptoms. Whereas if you can get
Mm.
to the root cause of the problem, you're hopefully kind of preventing that situation happening again.
Yeah, and I guess sometimes maybe they don't even know what their problem is, right? It's
Yeah,
you're there to
absolutely.
dig out the actual problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of why throughout Brave we have specialists in different parts of HR. So whether it comes to comp and bends, maybe ER issues such as disciplinaries, grievances, redundancies. We have a recruitment section as well. Uh, then it's different industries as well. So I have a tech background industry, that's kind of my niche, but I have colleagues who are more on the manufacturing side of things, on the food and beverage side of things. So there's this whole smorgasbord of experience, and actually in just speaking to each other, we can kind of go, oh, I don't know what the best way to solve this is, and actually just talking to other people and seeing kind of how they might have dealt with it in a different way
Mm.
previously, and you can start to apply those kind of solutions.
Amazing, brilliant, brilliant. What would you say, Lucia, for Brave and yourself, kind of going forward into the coming years? What does that look like? What's the kind of goal going forward? And I suppose a sidetrack to it, what role do you think AI will play in that future?
From my point of view, I really want to kind of embrace AI. I think there's uh, even just from the HR viewpoint, um, there's I look at the kind of entire employee life cycle, and there are already different platforms, different systems that can complement, so not even replace, just complement what you're working with
Yeah.
already. I think it would be a disservice to our clients for us not to understand what technology is out there. Um, and then, yeah, on the other side of things, going, okay, well, what can we do on the people side of things as well? What is the balance? So yeah, it's just for me, it's making sure that we kind of stay really relevant and up to date and provide the most kind of up to date solutions for our clients as well.
Yeah, that sounds completely responsible. And it's great to talk to to someone in the company that is that kind of forward thinking because I don't think it's even quite commonplace across all businesses. As soon as you bring up the word AI, a lot of people just put their head under the under the
Yeah,
pillow.
or they
Have
get
that,
their pitchforks out.
yeah, yeah, but
Yeah,
it is a reality that we're in, and it is just like you said, the horse has bolted, and whether you like it or not, you have to come to terms with what does this mean for my industry. I think the kind of saying I keep hearing is that AI will not replace your job, but somebody using AI will replace your job. And I think that's kind of what I was
yeah,
getting at with the recruitment the conversation I had previously. You're saying it's going to
yeah,
shrink because those companies that adopt AI will take over those that don't, essentially.
absolutely.
And Lucia, if our listeners want to reach out directly to you, what's the best way to contact you?
Well, so I'm as many people, I'm on LinkedIn. Just look for Lucia Tanner. I don't think there's too many of us. Or of course, if you onto Google want to look up kind of Brave, best thing to look up, because obviously if you just type in Brave, you could get all sorts coming up. Brave people. But yeah, please feel free to get in contact. I'll make sure James has my details, and feel free to contact me directly as well.
Brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, I will. I'll put your details just below in the comments. But really
Fantastic.
fantastic having you on, Lucy. A really brilliant conversation. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you, James.
Brilliant, and thank you everyone for listening.